Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio has been sentenced to 5 months in prison for burning a Black Lives Matter banner that was stolen from a black church in Washington, D.C. He was also carrying 2 high-capacity magazines and was arrested weeks later. Now, this is according to the Department of Justice. You know, recently we were talking about how it feels as though some of these people who engage in these riots, these right-wing militias, members of the Proud Boys, they get to just do what they want with no consequences. But here we are, Enrique Tarrio facing some pretty serious consequences. So CBS News reports that Tarrio pled guilty to 1 count of destruction of property and 1 count of attempted possession of a large capacity ammunition feeding device in July. Tarrio said on Monday that there was, quote, no excuse for his actions, adding that he made a grave mistake that day. Tarrio, who has led the far-right extremist gang since 2018, pleaded guilty in July to 2 misdemeanors. Federal prosecutors had asked the judge to give Tarrio 3 months in jail, but as I mentioned, he was sentenced to 5 months in prison. Now, to give you a little more context into what happened and what got him in trouble in the first place, he was not present at the January 6th riots in the Capitol. However, the reason why he wasn't there is because he got in trouble prior to that taking place. The flag burning incident occurred at the Ashbury United Methodist Church, a historically black church, on December 12th. After Tarrio and other Proud Boys attended a pro-Trump rally in Washington that later led to violent clashes. He was arrested when he returned to DC on January 4th, and of course that was shortly before the Capitol insurrection, and was found with 2 high-capacity magazines that are banned under DC's strict gun control laws. And I want to go to a video that Vice put together that gives you even more context, and I think is actually fascinating because there are multiple lawsuits against the Proud Boys right now that could bankrupt them. So I'll get to that video in just a second. But Cenk, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to give you the hypocrisy of this guy. So here's Tarrio when he's in front of the judge and he's trying to get a reduced sentence. He says, I'd like to profusely apologize for my actions. What I did was wrong. Doesn't seem proud there, he seems contrite, right? And then after the sentencing was over, he said, if anyone thinks putting me in chains, silencing me, dehumanizing me will keep me quiet, they're wrong. Oh, so you were totally lying in court about that profuse apology, etc. He comes out of court and he's like, they're trying to keep me in chains, Okay, so you're, as we suspected, a complete and utter liar. And I'm glad the judge sensed that you were a total liar and a fraud. And if anything, he tried to give him an even tougher sentence. And I like that he tried that. Now, apparently this was the toughest sentence he could give him, which isn't that much, but it depends on how you characterize it, right? So you burn a random thing in the street, okay, that's bad and you should get some consequences for that. You burn a black church's flag, that's like you could argue it's like a cross burning. You could argue it's terrorizing them, right? So 5 months is all you get? Okay, fine. But then don't pretend that you were sorry. Everybody knows you're a goddamn liar, right? And then afterwards, don't pretend that you're a tough guy when you were sniveling in court. Hey, all you Proud Boys out there, how'd you like it when he was begging the judge and licking the judge's boots to try to get a lower sentence? Oh, I'm not proud at all, I'm so apologetic. Well, then he comes back out, oh yeah, I hate black people. I get it, dude. We all see your scam.
Well, what's amazing is that the Proud Boys now accuse him of being some sort of federal agent / informant, because that's the kind of people they are, right? Now, the Proud Boys as a right-wing gang is facing quite a bit of legal trouble because the churches that have been, impacted by them are taking them to court. And so take a look at this Vice video that puts things in a little more context.
The whole thing started last December during a so-called Million MAGA March protesting the election results. It turns out putting million in your event's name doesn't guarantee turnout, which was estimated in the thousands. Still, it was a rough day in DC. There were fights, 4 stabbings, and 33 arrests, and the Proud Boys were there in droves. At least 2 churches had their Black Lives Matter signs torn down that day, and videos showed the Proud Boys doing it. Here they are burning a BLM banner stolen from Asbury United Methodist, And here they are outside Metropolitan AME. In January, that 149-year-old church filed a civil lawsuit accusing the group of committing acts of terror and saying the vandalism, quote, amounted to a new and dangerous chapter in the long and terrible history of white supremacist mob violence targeting black houses of worship. Lawsuits have proven successful against the far right before. The KKK was ordered to fork over $2.5 million in 2008 to a teenager who was beaten up by Klan members. In 2019, Andrew Anglin, founder of the neo-Nazi website The Daily Stormer, got slapped with a $14 million judgment after a Jewish family accused him of publishing their personal information online.
So this is important because we're talking, that video is specifically referring to the civil suits that the Proud Boys are facing. And that's of course different from the criminal charges, conviction, and now sentence that the leader of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, is dealing with, right? And so when I say that these lawsuits could bankrupt the Proud Boys, what does that mean? Like, is it a business? And the fact of the matter is, yes, it is. They sell merchandise, they make money, they do crowdfunding. And so all of their resources are now in jeopardy because of their own behavior. And I'm wondering if they're proud about that. I mean, that's not anything to be proud of. And I really do hope that, they get cleaned out by these lawsuits because that's what they deserve.
Yeah, so all the leaders of the so-called Proud Boys, none of them are ever proud. Gavin McInnes started the group, and then when his country club kicked him out because of it, he denounced his own group. And then later he tried to worm back into the group. But I do declare, I hope it hasn't cost you your country club. I don't know if Tarrio is also going to a country club. And so, by the way, just to be absolutely clear, I was saying about Tarrio, about how he hates black people. That's my opinion. He didn't actually say those words, but he did say these words. When he was theoretically apologizing for his grave mistakes when he was in court, he said, well, I've suffered, this is a direct quote, I've suffered financially, socially for what I've done. My family's business has been hit pretty hard. So what I did doesn't only affect the church, it affects a lot more people, including my family. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did your act of racism and hatred also cost you money? Well, I didn't know it was that grave. No wonder you thought it was a mistake. He's like, I mean, have I not suffered enough? Now I'm not making as much money as I used to off my hatred. Wow, we really shed a tear for you. So to me, he's a loser either way. The Proud Boys were probably deeply embarrassed by his sniveling in court, and then the judge was vindicated as soon as he steps out of the court and admits that he's a total and utter liar.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.